Variety is the spice of life, and when it comes to spice, I like variety. Over the years, I've amassed quite a collection of spices and rubs, and I really need a place to store them. We just renovated our kitchen, and in order to maximize our storage, I'm going to build a recessed spice rack. This is a super easy project, but you need to keep a few things in mind. First, make sure you're going in well above your baseboards.
Heed! Move!
And second, make sure you don't have any electrical in the wall cavity. Lots of stud finders will locate wires if you're unsure. And in my case, I was able to snap a picture during construction and before the wall was closed up, so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. After laying out the size of the hole, I get to work using a drywall saw to cut the opening. The nice thing is that once you're up against a stud, you can just ride against it for a nice straight cut. In order to avoid losing depth to a back panel, I'm going to make the inside drywall the back. But of course, I need to throw up some mud on there to smooth it out. And no, I won't be showing my crappy drywall skills, but I got the job done. Now I can take measurements so that I know what I'm building. And make sure you take measurements in multiple spots because the framing is rarely going to be square or straight. I also carefully measured the two bottle types that I usually have so that the shelf heights will accommodate them. Plywood would work fine for something like this, and honestly, it would be ideal. But I don't have any plywood right now, and I do happen to have a couple pieces of maple, so I'm resawing my boards down to a 1/2 inch thick. Everything will be made from this 1/2 inch stock, including all the shelves, the inside box, and the outer frame. And there's really no need for fancy joinery on this one either, just butt joints, glue, and brad nails. And anything you have to help keep things square will certainly help.
You like it?
All parts get a nice 1/16 of an inch round over to break the edge. The outer frame is then glued to the front edge of the box, and brads will lock it down. Since this is a painted piece, there's really no need for miters on the corners either. The long sides of the box will bow no matter what you do, so it's a good idea to pop a shelf or two in there temporarily as you attach the long frame pieces. Once the glue is dry, I sand the whole thing nice and smooth. Each shelf is then glued and nailed in place. Since so many of the shelves have repeated spacing, I cut a few pieces of scrap to act as spacers, which saves me a lot of measuring. The shelves will be flush with the back of the unit sitting in about a 1/2 inch behind the front frame.
Dad,
What?
I accidentally got glue on the table.
Nice.
The outer frame now gets a nice round over and some sanding. Backside sandpaper, of course. So the kids are out of school right now and camp hasn't started yet, so there's a lot of this going on. Back at the house, I could do my first test fit, and it's a bit snug. A few taps here and there, and I think we're good. I don't want it to go in all the way just yet, because I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to get it back out. So I remove it and use a block plane to relieve some of the high spots on the face of one of the 2x4s. And that looks a little bit better. So the trick here is to paint the inside the same color as the spice rack. That way it won't be obvious that it's drywall and not a wood panel. While a sprayed finish would yield the best result, I think I could do a pretty good job with a fine nap roller. Of course, the first coat is primer. Once dry, I sand the surface with 320 grit. And this is really the key to getting a nice smooth painted finish that rivals spraying. Once smooth to the touch, I wipe the surface with a damp microfiber cloth and then prepare for the paint. First, I cut into the corners. And then I trade some important life lessons with my 8-year-old.
I want to use that brush and paint the walls.
No,
Why?
because I need this to be perfect.
You don't need everything to be perfect.
Yes, I do.
Why?
That's what I do.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
What are you saying? I'm not perfect?
Everything does not need to be perfect.
I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be as good as possible.
I like painting.
I'll tell you what though, that wall in there needs to be painted with the same paint, and I'm more than happy to let you do it.
Okay.
You just paint from there down. And blend it into mine. So go a little higher. There you go. Good job. Go slow. You don't want it to splatter it. Fine work, Ava. Fine work. Yeah, don't go fast.
Sorry, I forgot it.
Feeling pretty good about it?
No, it's a kind of paint that you can drink, but also paint on your walls. Then you can just eat your walls.
Sounds delicious.
I love painting.
Thank you for your hard work. I'll let you do the next coat too, okay?
Yippee!
Good job. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
After 3 total coats on the rack and 2 coats of paint on the interior wall, I add some construction adhesive to the studs. This thing is such a snug fit that it really isn't going to need anything more than that. Of course, a job like this is tough to get absolutely dead on perfect, so I'll make liberal use of a good caulk line. Or at least as good of a caulk line as I'm capable of producing. Now, the gap at the back is enough that I think I could have made my box maybe a 1/16 of an inch deeper, as the gap is pretty consistent throughout, but what's done is done. And after caulking and painting, it looks pretty good. Now it's time to load up. Yeah, that's good. But I think I have a few more. Now we're talking. But I think I still have a couple more. Surprisingly, I've got some extra space. Oh, hang on. I found a few more. There we go. A spice rack any barbecue lover would be happy to have, and it doesn't take any space on a pantry shelf or in a cabinet. Yeehaw. What are you guys making?
Chops. I'm making something for Oreo.
Oh, anything for Oreo, huh?
Hey! You made me mess up. Here. What are you doing?
I'm singing a song.
What's it called?
It's called.